working on chapter 5. This last lesson in chapter 5 is all about using what we've learned so far with adding fractions, subtracting fractions, adding mixed numbers, subtracting mixed numbers, and then we're going to be doing all of those, okay? So we talked first about rounding and what the advantage of rounding is in estimating fractions. We said that when you're estimating, you want to find out, is the number closest to, or is the fraction closest to 0, 1/2, or 1? Okay? So keep that in mind whenever you're estimating fractions. How do you find if it is a half of something? You have to look at what number first? What is this number called? The denominator. The denominator. If you find half of the denominator and then look at the numerator, you can compare it. Okay? Then the next lesson, we talked about mixed numbers. 5 and 7/12 is close to 5 1/2. 1 3/8 is close to 1 1/2. So we can add these to find the estimate. Okay? Then we went to adding and subtracting fractions. When you're adding and subtracting fractions, you have to have a common denominator. Because you have to, the denominator tells you how big the pieces are when you're adding and subtracting. Okay? You can't take away fourths of something if you only have it in halves. If you have half a pizza, you can't take a fourth away unless you cut it. Right? That's what finding a common denominator does. It finds pieces that are the same size so that you can add them or you can subtract them. Okay? Then we added and subtracted mixed numbers. Sometimes when subtracting, you have to see if you have enough pieces. And if you don't have enough pieces, then you have to take one of the wholes and cut it up into fractions. Cut it up into pieces. Like in this example, 2 1/2 minus 1 5/6. Well, we know that a half is 3/6. But if we only have 3 pieces, we can't take away 5 pieces. We have to make more pieces. We have to break apart one of the wholes and then add those pieces to the pieces that we already have so that we can take away the right number. 6/6 plus 3/6 is 9/6, and then we can take away 5/6. Right? Remember doing this?
Yeah.
All right, good. So we talked about using models and problem solving, and talked a little bit about ratios, and then today is just practice. So, page 156. There are a couple of examples in there for you. Start with the first example. It says, if we have 4, and we needed to take away 2 amounts, 7/10 and 1/2. So look at this. 4 minus 7/10 plus 1/2. What do the parentheses tell us to do? Great. Add first. Right. We need to add these first to figure out the total amount that we need to take away from 4. So there's a number of steps to this, isn't there? Write this down. We have to add these first. We have to convert 1/2 to tenths. So we have to rewrite the problem as 7/10 plus 5/10. We know 5/10 is 1/2. We find that by multiplying both numbers by 5 to get the common denominator. Then simplify that. Sam? 12/10. Or, what is that? 1 and, really? 1 and 2/10, or 1 and 1/5. So we're going to rewrite the problem again and write 4 minus 1 and 1/5. Now, we have to take away 1/5 from this whole number, which means we have to take one of the wholes. So now we have 3 wholes left. And we need to break it apart into what size? Fifths. And we'll have 5 of them. So 3 wholes and 5/5. Then we can take away 1 whole from the wholes that we have. How many is that? How many left? Class? 2. And take away 1 piece from the fifths. And we have 4/5. 2 and 4/5. So there's a number of steps to this, isn't there? But we're applying everything that we've talked about. Okay. Let's go to number 1 in your assignment. It gives us the problem 6 and 1/21. And you might as well copy this down because this is going to be part of your assignment. So let's get started. 6 and 1/21 minus 1/3. Then it gives us some more numbers, and we're going to fill in the blank. It gives us a blank here for the whole number, and then 22/21. How did we get from 1/21 to 22/21? Sam?
You take 21/21 from 6.
Okay, so we're going to take 1 away,
Yeah, 1 away,
and now we have
then we have
5 wholes left. And then let's add 21 pieces. We know we're going to have 21 pieces because the denominator is 21. So if we add 21 pieces to the 1 piece we have, we get 22 pieces. Then we don't have 1/3 into 21st. We have to convert that, don't we? Now, don't be confused. This isn't the fraction bar here. This is the blank that they gave you. Let's convert 1/3 to 21st. We'd have to multiply it by what, class? 7. To make it 7/21. Right? Then it says to solve it, So there's our equal sign. 22 minus 7. 15. 21st. 5 wholes, take away 0. So that's 5. Is that simplified?
No.
It is.
No, it's not.
15 and 21. What common factor do they have? 3. So we have to divide both by 3. So now we have 5 wholes and 5 sevenths. That's simplified. Okay. So that's the first section you're going to do. The second section, starting with number 14. Number 14. Oh no, let's skip down to number 22. 22. 4 and 3/4 plus 2 and 7/20. 22. 4 and 3/4 plus 2 and 7/20. Oops, I like to write them this way. And then rewrite the problem here. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter if you write it going down and then going across. But I just like to write it underneath so that I know that this equals this and this equals this. So we need to rewrite the problem first. Convert it to a common denominator so that all the pieces are the same what, Noah? Size. Yep, same size. So how would we convert it to the same size? Times 5, good. So rewrite the problem 4 and 15/20 plus 2 and 7/20. So you can copy that down. Go ahead. And add 15 and 7. What is that? 22. And 4 and 6 is, or 4 and 2 is 6. But we can add another 1 because we have 22/20. 20/20 is 1. So if we take away 20 pieces, that gives us another whole. And what's our remainder? 2/20, which can be simplified to 7 and 1/10. Yep. Or I could write it on the side here. Okay. Any questions on that? So the 3 types of problems. We did the first one where there was 2 steps, starting with a whole number and then parentheses. We had to add the numbers in parentheses first and then take away the total. And then some other subtraction where you had to take up one of the wholes and cut it up into pieces so you had enough pieces to add or subtract. Oops. And then the last one where we are adding numbers and then making another whole number when we have a top-heavy fraction. Okay? That pretty much sums up this chapter. All right? Great.
You have to estimate, so it says to estimate.
Yep, and some of them you'll need to estimate. You don't have to write down the estimates though.
Okay.
Okay? You don't have to write down the estimates for tomorrow. All right.